There were some unscripted lines at a Broadway show the other night. A hideous lovey called Brandon Dixon, no, me neither, decided to seize the moment and treat theatre-goers to an impromptu political lecture. His reasoning was, as incoming US Vice President Mike Pence was in the audience, he felt emboldened to give everyone the benefit of his views on the presidential election result. Well, here's my critique of Mr. Dixon's performance. Get off the stage, you hectoring bore. You're merely an actor, so just stick to speaking the lines. You have neither the wit nor the wisdom to pen yourself, and try not to bump into the furniture as you exit stage right. Or in your dreary case, that should probably be stage left.
Nick.
Is that a sign of contentment and agreement? Yes.
Do your history homework. Theatre is political. In ancient Rome, the whole point of theatre was as a place for people to take on the emperor. It's evolved as a way that people can challenge the political establishment, so I can't think of anything more appropriate immediately after the most seismic election in American history for the cast to take on the decision of the vice presidential candidate to come and watch the play. And secondly, it's a play that celebrates the diversity, the rich history of immigration and triumph over adversity of the United States. So the subject matter was completely relevant. And thirdly, before you come in, have you watched the speech?
Have I? Yes, in fact, we should do that. That's a good idea. But we just finish your point and then we will, so everybody knows or needs some reminding.
How could you call it hectoring? How can you? It was the most eloquent, gracious. It wasn't aggressive at all. It wasn't hectoring at all. It was extremely polite. He said repeatedly, "You're welcome here. We're glad you're here to listen." I thought it was delivered beautifully. I thought it was award-winning.
I will answer your 3 points in reverse order after we show the audience exactly what we're talking about.
Vice President-elect Pence, we welcome you and we truly thank you for joining us here at Hamilton, an American Musical. We really do. We, sir, we are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us, our planet, our children, our parents, or defend us and uphold our inalienable rights, sir. But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and to work on behalf of all of us. All of us.
I can actually answer all the points, all your 3 points with this. You talk about using it in the days of the Emperor. That's totally different, because the Emperor was allowed a response. Mike Pence wasn't allowed to respond. He's heading towards the door with 2 members of his family, his daughter and his nephew. As he's leaving, he's stopped. He is lectured by this actor.
That is not hectoring.
He's lectured, and he has no opportunity to respond. Tell me how that's fair.
I think if it had been an aggressive speech which accused him of unwarranted things, then it would be a different matter, and maybe I would agree. But no, I thought it was very gracious, it was fair.
So he's not allowed to write the theatre.
You've got to acknowledge the context, Nick. This is just after an election that made people scared to leave their house. People were afraid. No, you can't dismiss that. You cannot dismiss that. Trump said things during the campaign that made people fear to wear their hijab in the street, to be an African American, to be openly gay. They were afraid. And that is the context in which he was speaking. He was saying there are people here who need to be reassured because this is a scary time.
There was no way that the incoming Vice President was allowed to respond, and that's not fair.
Nick, I don't think you understand what's been happening in America.
Respectfully, I was there during it.
But the whole point is all the old political protocol has gone by the board. Trump, well, we've already seen, as Jamie said earlier, Trump won an election by saying a load of things that he didn't believe because he thought that would make him popular. And the divide in America at the moment is massive. And actually, in some ways, it might be quite good. We might see a bit of a political debate.
Hold on.
At places like this that we don't see elsewhere.
But just remind me, what political expertise or schooling or grounding does Brandon...
I thought you were going to say Trump.
What is going to be next? Matilda's views on the Brexit?
No, you're a great...
We don't twank his views on the Greek financial crisis.
Nick, you're the man
I don't go to a show for that.
You're the man who says all the time the views of the people. Well, he and that cast are some of the people. And what they're saying is, this is what we think. And I hope that continues. I hope that actually we do have these... What you're objecting to is that actually they're more liberal than than the president and the vice president, and probably more liberal than you. If it had been the right saying that, you'd have been sitting here applauding.
No, I wouldn't.
What did Mike Pence say about how he felt about it?
He said it was okay, actually.
He said he was fine with it.
He said to his daughter, "This is what liberty looks like."
Yeah.
I think don't you all find it hilarious that this very touching episode in a New York theatre has triggered Nick Ferrari like this? You would think this was fantastic.
No.
You turn out to be a massive snowflake, with a terribly thin skin, who leapt to the defence of Mike Pence, who took it fine. It was no biggie for him. He said to his daughter, it was. And
I think
it's great.
Up to others to judge the approach.
It was in a theatre. Wait, it's great to me. Let me finish.
Yes.
That the fourth wall came down like that in such a fabulous way. Admittedly, he was reading. I wish he'd memorised those lines. The fourth wall came down brilliantly before one brick in the big, beautiful wall went up. And I think, hallelujah, and God bless America.
And again, to my central point, which is this man has no political grounding whatsoever.
So
why do we care?
But neither does Mr. Trump, and he's become the president.
He's won. He's won. James, we've not heard from James.
I'm a bit surprised why you're so wound up, because haven't you seen that dozens of times where at the Oscars, the actor will come out, take a trophy and use that as a political opportunity to give his view. I've seen that so many times, and I think in this particular example, I agree with Greg. This was an unprecedented event in America where people felt really passionate. He's got an opportunity, he's standing there, the guy happens to be there in front of him, and the fact that he wants to express a view or an opinion, why is that such a bad thing?
Let me read you what President-elect Trump said. Our wonderful future VP Mike Pence was harassed last night at the theatre by the cast of Hamilton. Cameras blazing. This should not happen. The theatre must always be a safe and special place. The cast of Hamilton was very rude last night to a very good man.
Why don't you read us what Pence said? More appropriate.
Well, what he said was that it's up to others to judge whether it's appropriate. But Donald Trump is not allowed a view now. Is this what we're saying?
No, but Donald Trump goes on. What Donald
Pence.
Trump goes on to say is, I don't think much of the show anyway.
Yes, and the cast and producers of
Hamilton. This is the most
Hamilton,
successful show in the New York
which is here,
for the last 10 years.
Is highly overrated. Should immediately apologise. I love getting that.
I mean, he shoots from the hip on every occasion.
Okay, but we're talking about Pence, though. But what I'm saying is, the guy gave an opinion to Pence, who was in the audience, and he was okay. He understood that clearly he was passionate about the points that he was making.
Tickets are roughly $600-700 a pop, right? I'm not, because I'm not, but if say I'm a Republican and I go with my wife or girlfriend or whatever, so I've shelled the thick end of $1,500, cabs and a bit. I've spent $2,000, right, to watch this show, and at the end I'm effectively told my vote is worthless.
I would go further. I would say not only did he have the right, did that actor Dixon have the right to say that, I'd actually say he has a responsibility to do it. You know why?
No.
You know why? Because Mike Pence is going
politics.
to the theatre in New York. He's enjoying the liberal, creative, free atmosphere that America has created. He chose to do that. You can't pick and choose. You want that. What comes with it is that people are going to defend their right to be free,
so he's not allowed
to feel
to enjoy
safe,
himself.
to have liberal values. If you want to enjoy that, you have to take what comes with it. And actually, he was not just speaking on behalf of himself.
The rules of the game have changed. Right. They've changed because of the election we've just had and the way in which Trump won it. And we accept he won it.
Freedom of speech.
He won it by saying what he fancied when he fancied. So why can he not claim give the same right to them?
You of all people saying that an actor can't get up on his hind legs and say something that was only inclusive.
Were we all in support? If you bring it back to the UK, I think it was the end of Hamlet that Benedict Cumberbatch chose to lecture us all about the migrant scandal, despite the fact that he was just trying to see a bit of shit. Is that appropriate?
I've seen it.
We're in a free country, luckily still.
You argued against that.
No, I went
on the
to
pledge.
I said he was a lovey.
You argued against that on the pledge some months ago. You said stop these dreary loveys, Benedict Cumberbatch and that fellow wandering around Calais with a cat.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Jude Law. You argued that on the pledge. You can't do this. You're a flip-flopper. The lady is returning.
The woman's right prerogative to change her mind. In this case,
is outrageous, Johnson.
After Trump, everything's changed. All the rules are different rules of the game.
You know, sometimes it takes our cultural icons to protect us from normalising bigotry.
Brandon Victor
That's
Lewis.
That play is iconic. It's one of the most decorated plays in Broadway history.
And he did
say...
He
is a cultural icon, and especially right now.
And he did say he was saying it on behalf of the whole cast. And he just hadn't written it. They'd all written it.
It was written by Miranda, wasn't it?